Alright, well, I am in New York State right now with my family, visiting my old stomping grounds for a few days where I grew up. And one of the things we're going to do over the next couple days is try tapping some sugar maples and making some maple syrup. Something I used to do with my parents on a much larger scale than what we're going to do here this week, but I wanted my daughter and my wife to get a taste of it and experience how much fun it can be. So I just figured I'd document our process and show you how we do it. Now there may be details that are different, the way different people do it across the country. I would definitely encourage you to research how others do it and research all the facts that I mentioned. I'm gonna say what I remember that we've researched, but hey, if I get something wrong, just check it out with someone else. So today is March 13th, 2019. Here in New York State, March is usually the month where you want to tap your trees. This is the prime month. And basically the indicator is, it could be a little later or earlier, depending on the weather, what the weather's doing, and temperatures. But the indicator is when it's consistently getting above freezing during the day and below freezing at night for several days on end. Now I happened to mention that to someone where I currently live out in Missouri, and they kind of looked at me funny, and I realized, well, I just described almost the entire winter in Missouri, where it gets above freezing during the day and sometimes below freezing at night. But up here it's definitely different. It freezes a lot harder and for a lot longer. And so when it starts warming up during the day to above freezing consistently, that triggers the trees to start pulling up more liquid, more water from the ground, and get that sap flowing, prepare to start budding out and producing new leaves. And that's the prime time. That's when you want to tap. So like I said, it's March 13th. Last week, as late as last week, they had temps in the single digits here. And it definitely wasn't getting above freezing during the day, but this week we're getting several days in a row of 40s, even 50s I think tomorrow, and maybe even close to 60 by the end of the week. But it was still down to about 20 last night. So you can see there's still ice on the lake. So it should be prime time. So we'll see how we do. This is the type of spile we're going to be using. There are some different styles out there. But basically what we do, we'll drill a hole, tap this end into the tree. I'll tell you the details on that. Of course, this has this little hole in the back of it, so the sap will kind of run in there, run down the chute, and drip into your bucket, which hangs from this hook. These are the buckets. So here's one that was tapped yesterday, a day before we got here. It only has about, well, I don't know, it may have 4 or 5 inches in the bottom. It's frozen now because it got cold last night. But today is supposed to get a lot warmer, so we expect that to fill up a lot more. So to drill our holes, we're going to use a 5/8 drill bit, and you want to drill 1.5 inches deep. So you can kind of mark your drill bit by marking it with a marker, which is what we're doing right here. We're not going to do a whole lot of them. You could also kind of wrap a piece of tape around it, which we've done in the past. I'll just kind of give you an indicator that you've gone deep enough.
Okay, what we're looking at here is a hard maple tree. Hard maple has like heavy ridged barks that grow on the tree like this, and when they get older, the barks start to flake off, like you see right here. When you get a little older, that tells you it's a hard maple tree. And hard maple tree is the best maple tree to get sap from. A soft maple tree would almost look like what you see right here, only the whole way around would be soft like that. You'd have little ridges like that, but not big ridges like this, and not big chunks you can actually grab a hold of. That's the difference between a soft maple. Soft maple doesn't produce a good maple.
All right.
Maple syrup.
Now, some people may be asking, does it hurt the tree to drill the holes in it?
Doesn't hurt it. You drill the holes in 1.5 inches deep. You don't want to go deeper than that, because when you go deeper than that, you get into the core of the tree where insects and bugs and diseases can get in there and eventually could kill a tree. You don't want to do that. You want to save the tree. 1.5 hole will heal back over like you see here was done in the past, and they just plug in like a wooden plug.
Yep.
And it doesn't damage the tree at all.
If you're tapping every year, it's been years since we've done these trees, but if you're tapping every year, you don't want to go right next to an old one like that. You want to go off a little bit, a little ways.
Or you never want to go above it. And when you're looking to tap, you want the optimal places is to look where the roots are, where the roots are going. That's where the sap is going up the tree, or where there's a branch above, like over here would be a good place because there's a branch going that way, or on that side. And the south side, which would be this side over here, is really the best.
Yep. The south side gets the most sun, so that'll be warmest, typically, right?
In the afternoon, yep.
And that'll pull up more sap than the north side. And like you said, directly under a prominent branch shooting off like that will pull up more sap.
To hold the bucket.
You gotta be the assistant.
Yep, this is our maple bucket.
A little less cold
This is
if
a
I
spile.
can't
When we put this spile into the tree, this will be sticking out, and when we drill the hole, you may even see the sap beginning to drip down off of there.
Okay.
And once it's in the tree, then see that little hole in there?
Yeah.
That hooks on here like that. Then I'm going to put a lid on, right there.
Hold it up.
We'll put the lid on there, and we'll see this in action. Then you just put this through here, and that just keeps any bugs or dirt from falling in there. Okay. So
yeah,
we'll pick a nice place, like
Yeah.
if I drill here or in here, then the spile is back in there a little far. And so we'll drill a hole.
Now you want to angle that.
Okay, that would
Angle
be
that
like
bit up a
straight
little
in.
bit.
We want to go up a little bit because we want the flow coming down. It's a little cold right now. It's still below freezing. And so I don't think we're going to get the sap coming out. Just tap that in a little bit. Not necessarily too hard. Hang your bucket on there.
You want to install it enough so that as these buckets fill with sap, they don't pull them out.
Right. Okay. Now we need a lid. Here's comes the sap. See the sap coming?
Oh yeah, look at that. It's already starting to flow.
Drip, drip, drip.
Oh, there it comes. Looks like water. Yeah, it does.
You want to taste it? You want to just dip your finger in and taste it?
Good.
Like that?
It's not
It's
gross.
not gross.
Take a little taste.
You might be able to tell. Can you tell it's sweet already? Pretty
It
much
tastes
just
like
water.
slightly like water with like the
It tastes just like water.
Yep.
Yeah, a little hint of sweet.
There we go. There we are.
Right. Prevent stuff from falling in.
That's the stuff.
There's still maybe a few bugs and stuff to get in there, but we'll filter it. So they say a tree under 18 inches you don't want to tap. Is that right?
Yeah, don't tap a tree under 18. Let it grow.
And if it's
Over 18, you can put in 1. If it's over 24, you can put in 3. And if it's over 32, you can put in 6. No more than 6. Even if the tree is 100 inches, no more than 6 taps.
no more than 6. But 24 inches you can do up to 3. 32 inches you can do up to 6 taps.
And that's diameter.
This one's about what is this one here?
It's about 32 inches.
About 32. So we're gonna do what, 3 on here?
Yeah.
We'll do 3 on this one. Hey Shay,
Yeah.
what do you call it when a spy smiles?
a spile.
Okay, we're collecting sap now. We already had to do this once. Last night after dark, we came and checked them, and they were overflowing. Now we got about half a bucket there. Half a bucket there.
And it wasn't like that earlier?
That one's pretty full.
So the first filtering process is dumping it through a towel, which just helps filter out any bugs or any small pieces of bark and stuff like that that is falling in.
Okay, ready? Cheers.
Tap, sap, and flapjacks.
Ooh,
Sweet.
it is sweet. That's good.
It's a little sweet, but not very sweet.
Slightly sweet, right?
So we only did this for 2 days, and because we're only here for a few days, we're just doing it short term. Some people, you could do this for probably close to a month, or maybe 3 weeks or so. But we're just going to pull these spiles right back out. Lid. And that would just keep on dripping right there if we left it in there. Just pop it right out, and that hole will heal up. Okay, this is our setup. This is the pot we're going to be boiling it down in. I cleaned it out this morning. It hasn't been in use in a few years. If we can get it over here without dumping it all on the ground. So one thing you have to watch is, I don't know if you can see it beyond the steam, but it will start to foam up like crazy, and that'll build up and spill over if you're not careful. But a little trick is put a little bit of butter or some kind of oil in there, and that will make the foam go right down. Okay, we just added the second batch from today. We're only doing 2 days worth, and we ended up with about 20 gallons of sap total. Now that should boil down to approximately 1/2 gallon or 2 quarts of maple syrup, because the ratio is about 40, or some say 50 to 1. About 40 to 50 gallons of sap will boil down to 1 gallon of maple syrup. So that's all we have left to do, is keep on feeding the fire and watch it boil down. Going good now. Got 2 bald eagles in the top of that tree right there. Their nest is right here on the top of this tree. Well, they're both right up there. You can hear them calling. Oh, they're mating. Maybe.
So go gently. This is a little taste after it's been
Can you see?
boiling a little bit. Go. Are you tasting it?
Tastes like syrup. It's really sweet now.
It's a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
It's not quite syrup.
Mmm. Yeah, that's what I know.
Keeping the fire going.
Have you tried this one yet?
Nope. I did a little while ago, but it's probably a little even sweeter now.
Sweeter now. I'll try some.
It's like syrup.
Well, we started the boiling process probably about noon today. We've been cooking it down all day. Added a second batch to it, like I showed. But we still got a while to go. And we're guessing, we're not sure, but we're guessing probably going to be doing this till about midnight tonight. We're getting down there pretty far. There's only about an inch in the bottom of this tub now.
Oh, here we go.
Now that it's getting down pretty close, we are going to run it through this towel into a smaller pot and finish it off on the stove inside. Alright, so this is the final step. We boiled it down to about a gallon and a half maybe, we're guessing. We didn't actually measure it last night, but we decided to wait till this morning to do the final step. We brought it in onto a stove, and what we'll have to do is keep checking the temperature. It will boil at 212 degrees, but you keep checking the temperature, and as the sugar concentration rises and the water gets boiled out, eventually the temperature will start rising, and when it gets to 5 degrees above boiling point, which will be 217, then you know that it's ready. You stop it and let it cool down, and it will cool down to pure maple syrup. Now I say 5 degrees above boiling point because I guess that could be different depending on where you are. Some higher elevations, like if you're up in the Rockies, boiling point could be slightly different. But there are, I'm not going to give you the exact temperatures because I don't know them offhand, but you can look up videos and you can look up instructions on taking it further down, and you can actually boil it past the maple syrup point, and it will harden to, or thicken to like a spread. If you take it even further to a certain temperature, then it'll solidify to like a fudge or a soft candy, and then you can take it even further and it'll solidify to a hard candy. Just the more water you take out depends on how thick it ends up being, but 5 degrees above boiling point is when you want to stop it from maple syrup. So we think we're there, about 217, and usually when you get there the foam really starts coming up, which it sure looks like it's doing. There it goes. The thermometer's starting to disappear. That means it's time. This is the final straining. It's still hot. Alright, so we ended up getting 3 quarts. We got a half-gallon jar full and a quart, which is more than we expected from 20 gallons of sap. But I guess it's not always an exact science. Sometimes you get more than you think. So that's pretty awesome. So what are we eating?
We're having like a cinnamon roll French toast with our new syrup.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What else you putting on it?
Strawberries and whipped cream.
Strawbs?
But the syrup is the best. That is so good.
Mapley?
I can't really taste the syrup that much, but the little that I can is so good.
You put too much other stuff on there. But it is definitely 100% pure maple syrup. Thanks for watching.
Syrup! I love syrup!
Tapping is with your
Syrup!
That was very entertaining. Now take a bath.